Hey Nate, take a break. Let's go play some ping pong.
All right, let's do it.
We're going down.
All right. Oh, nice.
Hold on, space. Go here. I should let that go. So I always sweat playing ping pong.
Well, you're wearing a long sleeve shirt.
That's true.
So do you have any ideas of what we could do with this wall over here?
I do. Got an idea that I've seen online for a game that we can hang on the wall.
Okay, so like have this be, once you've got ping pong here, so have this be the game area.
Yeah, that'd be great. We could do multiple games on the wall.
Oh.
Alright guys, so while you watch me work in time-lapse, I get to talk to you for a second and share some of the things I learned. And some of these things are common sense, I'm sure, to your average woodworker, but I had to learn them during this project. Things like running your boards through an edger to get a square edge. So when you run your boards through a table saw against a fence, you can get square cuts. In this instance, that was really nice and really convenient because I was making a square chessboard and a square frame to go around it. I also learned that gluing together narrow boards or strips of wood like this is not as easy as it might look, and it would have paid to have more woodworking equipment like a gluing rack and things, but we were able to make it work with clamps and scrap pieces of wood and large boards. There's a lot of gluing involved in this project. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. Okay, so I've been working on this for the past, just with breaks and stuff, several months. It's an idea I pitched to Nate. He doesn't know at the time of this recording that I've been working on it. It's something I want to surprise him with. But I've got this chessboard glued together and some grooves cut in it. Hopefully you can see that. And now I've got to put together a frame. We're gonna flip the camera around here just a second and I'll try and explain what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I've got those 45-degree angles cut and I need to get another board or another part of the frame to go here, of course. And then my plans are to make some grooves here along the bottom so I can put a board across. And then I wanna keep some length here and put another board across so that as you play a game, we have somewhere like a small shelf to put the chess pieces that have been taken out of the game. So the hard part is gonna be trying to get these grooves. I've got to put grooves in the frames, both sides of this frame, all the way up, because I'm going to put some clear acrylic pieces in here like shelves to put the pieces on. So I've got to mark these up and cut the grooves in it, and hopefully get them lined up well enough that I can slide those acrylic sheets in. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get back to working on that. Okay, so I'm back here working on this surprise project for Nate in the studio house. I have a quick story to tell about what happened here, but it's a salvageable project, so we're gonna keep moving forward with it. So unfortunately, I once again failed to put a camera up and did not get footage of me putting this frame together. So it's glued and nailed, brad nailed together. But here's the thing, so as you can see, the top two rows of this chessboard are no longer attached to the chessboard, and had to put some glue along this seam because it cracked. What happened was I was trying to square up the top portion of that board, and a corner caught on this belt sander. So it ripped a corner off of the top, ripped this corner off that I had to glue back on, and then it ripped the whole board out of my hands and broke on the floor, which I also didn't get footage of, so that's dumb. But this is the plan. We're gonna put the frame on this backer board that looks disgusting. Thankfully on the other side of the board it's white, so this fits in here real snug, nice and tight. We'll glue it in there. This is cut out so we can put it in this portion, glue it in there, and then all of the grooves that I cut line up pretty good, and we'll be able to put some plexiglass shelves in there, and we'll have this done in no time flat. I'm getting close to being done with the board itself. I've just got to extend the bottom part of the board here, so it's kind of a shelf where we can put the chess pieces that get taken out of the game. So I need to glue that together, and then after that's nice and dried and sanded up one more time, I will oil the board, finish the chess pieces themselves, and hang it on the wall. Okay, it's a new day. You should be able to tell. A few days ago, I started to oil this chessboard. So there's a little bit on the actual board that I haven't done yet, and then on the sides. So still some oiling to be done. But before I finish that up, what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to do some, countersink pre-drilled holes, one on either side here, so I can put a screw in that ends up being flush with that board. And I brought this copper wire, so like any hanging picture frame, this wire will be what I put underneath the screws, so I have the capability of hanging this board on the wall. We'll get that finished today, put the shelves back in, and then get working on the chess pieces, and hopefully get those done in the next day or two. I learned that it was nicely convenient that the table saw blade that I was using made cut grooves conveniently just the right size for plexiglass to fit in. The plexiglass that I was using to fit in as a shelf without having to glue in any plexiglass. The only things I glued were wood. So that was also very convenient and nice to learn. I learned that even square chess pieces take a lot of time to shape and make look at least semi like all the chess pieces that there are to have in a chess game. So that definitely took the longest, or was the most time-consuming part of this project, was making those chess pieces. But still a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see this go up on the wall. I also learned, and this was probably my least favorite part of this project, that cutting strips of plexiglass as narrow as I was cutting them to make these shelves with a box cutter was not fun, right? You just had to score the plexiglass and then just break it along the line you scored. And I mean, it worked for the most part, but man, there were a lot of pieces that I had to scrap. I went through a decent amount of plexiglass trying to make those shelves, but in the end, it worked out, and it was totally worth it. Your turn, Nate.